season to not only enjoy merrymaking, but enjoy being the merry maker. Hello, I am Mimi the Feral Southern Housewife. Welcome to my channel. I hold this space for my whimsical and witchy homeschoolers to have a space for us to come together and build this community, share ideas as we meet our children where they are. And this is also a space for us to share and appreciate one another's values for humanity, as well as the magic that is in this world. I invite you to come and have a sit down with me. And if you haven't already subscribed, please do so. Your support means more content. I was watching the light scatter over the snow while swirls of flakes were all spinning around from like the side of the window because it's cold and I don't want to be out there. And I remember that this is the time to be still. This is the time to rest. We need to cultivate the idea of observing and taking part in the soft and calm and quiet that is around us, instead of the hustle and bustle of the holidays and all the expectations that come with it. So, a few years ago, I actually absolutely quit all the Christmas shenanigans. I quit. I hated the schedules. I hated all of it. I was bitter. I was burnt out, and it was all too much. I had really lost, like, the plot, as it were. I couldn't find the joy in my heart when it came to the holidays. Some of it was trauma. Some of it was burnout. Some of it was postpartum depression because all of my babies, except for one, are winter babies. And some of it was just because I was so sick that I just couldn't hold it all together. And it wasn't until I started to dig deeper and live through these moon cycles that I was actually able to like let go and ground myself. Do you know what I mean? So first of all, before we start talking about the cold moon and bringing that into your homeschool, I want you to take that moment to sit with yourself. Have some grace for yourself. Have some patience for yourself. Remember that these are still good memories, even if they're not perfect. We put so much pressure on ourselves to force to keep up with everything. And I'm not saying it was the elf on the shelf's fault, but I'm saying that when that elf came around, that's when I started losing everything. It just kept growing and compounding and expanding and getting more and more outrageous and ostentatious. And I felt like a failure as a homeschooling parent and just as a parent in general because I couldn't keep up with it. And I want you to just hold that for a moment and just let go of it. Just let go. What I started to do instead was make my own traditions, the ones I knew, the ones I could keep up with. And it didn't matter if they were small or tall, I could incorporate them with everybody. And at this time in the quiet, I take this time to honor my ancestors and also to honor the present. And I let the cold moon just kind of guide us into the solstice season. Because the cold moon heralds the beginning of this part of the year's cycle. Normally, I would say, just throw everything. Let this be the first night of, woo, it's celebration night. But if you're having a hard season, don't feel rushed. Another little side part, I am no longer a housewife. I am currently a student support specialist and special educator for the Waldorf-inspired charter school, the district that my oldest was part of for the virtual school. And so now we juggle teaching there as well as still teaching at home because we're tutoring, we're doing homework now. I am still having to do a lot of support stuff for my autistic kiddo because she really struggles with the concepts and everything in school. So I'm still homeschooling in the evening with her. And then my youngest, who is going into kindergarten next year, I'm starting a lot of that, even though she is with a wonderful caregiver. But we're still working on keeping with the cycles and everything like that. It's a lot. But I wanted to bring what I had been doing in the past to you, and to explore and share what I have done, what I am doing, and how I'm still not letting myself get overwhelmed. Because that's the big thing. Like, I'm digging into being grounded and soft and quiet, even when I want to lose my mind because I am a little feral. The things that I have kept up with, we do are cookie decorating. First, as my oldest grew, she wanted to get better and better. Her hobby is baking. Mostly stress baking, but her hobby is baking. And so as she got older, she really put some effort and time into decorating her cookies. And so we would start doing like, who can make the best cookie and who wants to make extra cookies, and then like what kind of decorations and food coloring and all that fun stuff. So like, I just let her roll with that. And that's what you can do with your bigger kids. Just kind of like let them take that tradition and make it a little bit their own while still keeping everything cohesive. There is a point where we have to let go and let them make their own tradition, as well as keep up with what we're already doing. That's not adding extra to your plate though. I promise. You're just holding that space for them to kind of explore it and see what they like and don't like. The other thing that we did was we made homemade cinnamon ornaments, and that one was fun until it wasn't, because I had one kiddo try to eat them. I'll let you guess which one. And so we still make ornaments, but I try to do like the salt ornaments instead of the cinnamon ones. We can paint them easier with our little paint set that we have, and we can make funnier shapes, and there's less likely a chance for the kids to eat them. So I will leave that in your hands on which one you want to do. I'm just saying, for some reason, the cinnamon ones, they just really want to put them in their mouth. Use your discretion here. Let me think. We started to do, well, we had always done kind of a chain to count down the time from, it used to be the first all the way down, and now it's been like when we have the full moon, then we go to the cycle. If the full moon is really, really close to the solstice, I kind of shove it up a little ways more so that we can enjoy more time together. But for the most part, I try to do it around when the full moon will be, and then we put the chain down. And we just take off one every night, and there's either an activity, there's a book, there's a movie, something fun that we can do that everybody like contributes to. Like, you write down 3, you write down 3, I'll write down some. And so we just kind of take it piecemeal for things that the kids want to do, as well as what you're able to do. So you can really, find that. I'm trying to think. If you are able to do so, make snow cream. Go play in the snow. Go make frosty milkshakes. If you can't get snow, go do some frosty milkshakes or something. When we lived in the South, with my oldest when she was real little, that's what we did. We made Frosty the Snowman milkshakes with vanilla ice cream, and then we would sit down and we would watch the Frosty the Snowman movies. Did you know there are like 3? There's like 3 Frosty the Snowman movies. I had no clue. And the first one is still a classic. The second one's actually pretty funny, and you could tell it was definitely like written and done like in the 70s. Very eco-conscious, so that's actually a pretty good one. And then the third one was like Frosty and Rudolph Save Christmas, something like that. I didn't make it through that one. I think I fell asleep, or I decided to go and clean up the Frosty milkshakes or something. But yeah, there's 3, so that's always an option. But making the snow cream and then making the Frosty milkshakes, those were all really important to like bring the winter inside. You know what I mean? What's the other one? Oh, it's an oldie, but like a goodie. Obviously, you have the story of the Holly King and the Oak King, and I tell the story with like sometimes little wooden puppets. Sometimes I let my bigger kiddos pretend to be the Holly King and the Oak King, and they like fight it out and everything while I'm telling the story, and that's pretty cool. So that's another one that you can do to incorporate everybody together. The one thing that we started to do, and I am doing this year, is I'm setting up a winter solstice spiral, and we start working towards this tradition on the cold moon. So like the cold moon is our one big, oh, it's time to really dig into this part of the season. And so much of the holiday overshadows the cold moon, kind of like how it does usually in the summer. We kind of lose track of the moon too because it's summer. Go out, do things, have fun. But for winter solstice and the cold moon heralding the winter solstice, we set things up for the spiral. So we start laying apples at the altar. I started having the kids like pick out their candles. I think I did tea lights last year, but the little ones actually had trouble with it because the metal heated up a little too fast. So we're going to get like the little chime candles to put in our apples and put on the altar. And what I do is I take my candle and I hold it, and they light their candle one at a time, and one goes around the circle and then puts their apple and candle on the altar. Then the next one and the next one and the next one. And we do this every night to kind of help the light come through the darkness and work with us as we move. And I know it's silly. It was Waldorf inspired, but it also felt way too witchy to not include. Do you know what I mean? Anyway, if there's anything that y'all like to do, please leave a comment below for what y'all love to do, like your favorite tradition, like the one you do no matter how sick, how crazy things are. There's always one that you do. I'd love to see it. Please share it. And I hope that the end of the year finds you well. Your solstice is full of joy and light, and you have a very blessed rest of December. Bye now.